Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mahim Sisodiya from Pvalue Analytics, and I have with me Mandeep, Malik from Bharti Airtel.
Hi.
This is the team who has worked on the paper. We are presenting our paper on Contextualized NPS. Schrodinger's cat. It's not just the paradox of quantum mechanics. We have seen its reflection in market research as well, in the form of NPS score. Like Schrodinger's cat, an NPS score can also exist in two states, both good and bad at the same time, until we open the box and uncover the customer story. This paradox makes it tough for us to identify the customers who are truly at risk. Let me give you a couple of examples, what we call mass detractors. Customer has given a passive score, but at the same time, the verbatim says, the disconnections are very frequent. I don't know why. These are impacting my office work. I don't want to continue. At the same time, there is an opposite case of consumer we call hidden passives of promoter. Customer has given a detractor score, but the verbatim says there are frequent issues, but it's still better than others. I would still recommend this. This disconnect creates a big blind spot for us. Across studies, we have seen close to 30% divergence in customer scores and stories. That means we often end up reaching 1/3 customers who are really not unhappy. And at the same time, we run the risk of missing 2 to 3 times the consumers who are actually at risk.
Let me give you a view of what is the scale of impact that this blind spot can have for us at Airtel. We serve almost around 390 million consumers across different line of businesses, be it prepaid, postpaid, broadband, DTH, etc. We engage with almost 40 million consumers annually with the help of NPS survey. Of these 40 million consumers, about 1 lakh respond to a very detailed diagnostic NPS survey. And we at Airtel, we follow a mandate of 100% closed looping with detractors, which basically means that we call up all the detractors, try and understand the issue, and try to resolve them. This basically means that even a small blind spot can have massive implications for us at Airtel. Let me show you some of the examples. At a very fundamental level, misclassification distorts the prioritization of consumers who are at high risk for us. There is a delay of closed looping, there is a lot of wasted service recovery efforts, there is a heavy operational cost that we incur at our call centers, and many high-value consumers often happen to be discerning. There is a huge negative impact on the brand equity that we have to deal with. And more importantly, this makes our churn prediction ineffective. That is why the task in hand was not merely to have an efficient closed looping system, but also to arrive at more accurate churn prediction, whereby we can engage with right consumers at the right time for the right reasons.
Our goal was not just to recalibrate the NPS score. It was to decode this disconnect so that we can build norms, gain deeper understanding of consumer behavior, and at the same time, we can also predict churn more intelligently. As the book Lilliput Land reminds us, India is a land of many truths, and they are all true at the same time. There are many Indias within India, each carrying its own context, shaped by culture, region, education, and affluence. And taking all that into consideration and understanding that these contextual variables have a deeper and distinct imprint on how consumers rate their experiences, we worked on a model which is a 4-step model. In the first step, we have leveraged the scale and depth of our NPS program that we run across multiple lines of businesses. More than 100,000 customer responses, along with demographic profiles and business intelligence variables were mapped, along with the churn status, churn or active currently in the system. In the second step, we have also leveraged artificial intelligence and NLP techniques to convert consumer verbatims into a 0 to 10 point scale combining them together, and taking churn as a dependent variable, we could come up with the churn prediction simulator, which helps us in identifying the high-risk consumers so that we can take proactive actions before they actually leave. This is the equation at play, contextualized NPS, which is a combination of original NPS, consumer verbatim, and it also accounts and adjusts for contextual biases. From our analysis, we have learned that there are 3 big drivers to this disconnect. Culture, which is primarily how people from different regions translate their feelings into scores. Education, which contributes 30 to 40%, is how confidently consumers can comprehend and respond to these scoring questions. And finally, 20% about contribution is about from age, which is about life stages, number of experiences, and maturity of consumers. Apart from that, we have also been able to identify customers where the gap between the actual score and intent is widest. Like you can see some of the examples, I'm not going to read out all of them. At the same time, we have also been able to locate customers who are usually generous in their scoring, but they are not very generous in their commentary. They are very harsh. Like you can see, and this gives us a learning or a benchmark or a guideline to understand and take this into account, because a customer, 25-year-old customer who is giving a 6 NPS can mean the same as NPS of 8 from a 55-year-old customer. This is a visualization of how contextualized NPS improves churn prediction. This is a traditional NPS methodology. It's solely dependent on how consumers comprehend the scale and full of culture and regional biases. Comparing it with the contextualized NPS framework, which is leveraging AI to combine the customer verbatims, normalize for various contextualized variables, the churn prediction improves to 77%. That's a huge jump for at the scales we are running the operation and helping the brand. These findings are getting implemented across multiple lines of businesses, and we are expecting a 50% increase in churn, in closed looping efficiency, because by identifying 1/3 of false detractors, we are able to focus more on those consumers who are actually unhappy. At the same time, churn prediction efficiency of 77% gives us the ability to take proactive actions and stop these consumers from leaving because of their experiences. We believe this framework can serve as a blueprint for the customer-facing industries. There are a lot of industries which can adopt this, because at the core, everybody is facing this challenge, this paradox of disconnect between the scores and the actual intent. And with the advancement in technology and AI, there are many other simulators which are more real-time can be created. Here we close the loop on Schrodinger's cat, because moving beyond the paradox can only let us delight a human in a consumer. Thank you so much.
Yes. Nice, very good.
Okay, so given the disconnect in scores and likely behavior you spoke about, isn't there a merit in including other metrics in measuring customer experience than just relying on NPS or calibrated NPS so as to make the framework a robust indicator of outcomes?
So in the current scope, we have counted for many other variables, also a lot of usage parameters and other demographic variables. But in the current scope, we couldn't find any other parameter which came up as a relevant contributor to this disconnect.
Okay, thank you.